Hello, welcome to another JFDI podcast. It's another recorded one. So we're recording this on a Sunday morning, 8 a.m. GMT, because today's very special guest is on the other side of the world. And so we needed to arrange it at a time that was going to be not ridiculous for either of us. So let me introduce you to someone I worked with kind of years ago. Met probably, we're knocking on 30 odd years ago now, and haven't seen in face to face for almost, I don't know, it must be 25 years, who is now living in Australia. And so I've got lots of questions to find out what she's actually up to. Yes, you heard that right. I said what she's actually up to. You asked for me to find a lady who had served with you gentlemen in the RAF, and I've asked loads and nobody would do it. But this lady has agreed to do it. So please go crazy when you watch this for today's JFDI podcast guest, who is the very brave, the wonderful Lisa Venables. Good morning, good evening, I think, to you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good.
Are you good?
I'm really nervous.
That's all right. That's okay. You've got nothing to be nervous about. We're just going to talk about some songs, and we're just going to talk about stuff, and it'll all be cool.
I know.
It'll all be cool.
I know.
Yeah.
It's just what do you say? JFDI, just fucking do it. That's me. That's what I'm doing. This is me.
There you go. There you
So
go.
out of my comfort zone, but bring it on. Come on.
Yeah, I love it. well, let's get cracking then, shall we? I'll just do what I'm told.
Okie dokies. Sounds like
Right, so we've got 5 songs. You did have 4, but you've added another one.
Yeah.
And that's cool. That is our guests. That is entirely up to you. That's why I say 4 or 5. But what I've found is sometimes people having the choice of 4 or 5 is actually harder than just saying you can only have 4 or you can only say 5. But it just means you think about it. So yeah. Was it hard?
Yes, definitely.
Was it?
Yeah.
Right.
My life has always been through songs. So memories,
yeah,
anything that you ask, I can always tell you, right? I can tell you what that song was. I can tell you what was playing in a club when I met so-and-so, or, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And from your first song as well, that includes the 90s, which some of the people that I've spoken to have like very vague recollections of the 90s. So fair play.
89, actually.
Oh, is it 1989? Was it?
Yeah.
So the first song is Pure by Lightning Seeds.
Yeah.
1989. There you go. What's the story with this one then?
Okay, so the story is, the song Your Mum and Dad Hate.
Yeah.
That song that you put on repeat constantly.
Yes.
That was the song. On record, also.
Yeah.
Obviously, back in 89.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was doing my AS levels.
Yeah.
Do you know what AS levels are, being Scottish?
Well, I guess they're kind of probably similar to like what our O grades or our higher.
In between an A level and an O level.
All right, okay. Yeah, similar.
This song came out. It wasn't my Smiths that I used to listen to. It wasn't my Cure that I used to listen to. It was just something totally out there. It gave me happy vibes. And it also came out in summer. And that summer, in fact, all my summers when I was younger seemed to last forever.
Yeah.
And ever.
Mm.
Also, first boyfriend.
Yeah.
That will always be my song of my youth. Always. No matter
Right.
when I hear it, and it just gives me goosebumps.
Yeah. It brings back the happiness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the smells and everything.
Yeah. So what was happening in your life at that time, around the time when you're talking about like long summers and first boyfriend and stuff? So, you know, whereabouts did you grow up?
Bradford.
Bradford.
Yeah, I don't like telling people that.
Why not?
Because it's a disgusting place. No. Well, yeah, it still is. It's even worse now. But yeah, so growing up in Bradford, I was kind of an only child. My sister was like 12 years younger than I was, so
Yeah.
she was a baby. And yeah, just the summers, being out, wandering around, just thinking that you've got everything ahead of you and you've got all these dreams.
Yeah.
And things are going to just go fantastic. You know, I don't know. It was just a
Yeah.
hope song. You know, one of them things that you just think.
I know
Yeah,
what you mean. Yeah, a song with happiness, a song that reminds you of your childhood, and a song that kind of instilled hope.
yeah.
And then you joined the RAF. How did that come about?
So I always wanted to join the Air Force. I was in the flipping cadets. Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, that was a bad experience.
What cadets?
Hell yeah.
Was it what happened in the
I
cadets?
think it was actually worse than Swinderby. They were just like the people were just really just. I think I must have joined a wrong cadets.
Got a branch.
Yeah. So
Wrong
if you didn't fit in, well, in fact, no, that's the Air Force for you, isn't it? If you don't fit in, you're buggered. No. But yeah. Anyway, so went to the flipping CIO, decided to join up, and yeah, that was a horrible experience though, because I was like, how old was I? 18, I think, when I went to the CIO. And I wasn't fat or even overweight, but I still, when you have to do the, like, you got to stand on the scales and you got to fit into certain things. Yeah, so apparently, according to that, I was overweight. And I was like, I'm a size 10. How can I be overweight? Anyway, so me and my dad, bless him, and my dad was never anything like an athlete.
Yeah.
He used to take me running.
Right. To get you into shape.
To get me into shape. To lose some weight, even though he was like, you don't need to lose weight, but we'll go running.
Right.
And by God, by the end of it, he was huffing and puffing, and I was like carrying him home. But if it wasn't for him, I would never have done it. I also we used to have some stairs in the back garden.
Yeah.
And we used to run up and down the stairs for an hour at a time. I ate cabbage and corned beef, because this is my mum. I don't know where she got this diet from, but she said,
you on a
if you
military
eat
diet,
white cabbage and corned beef, you'll be fine. Every single day for like 6 months.
Right.
Can't eat either of them ever again. Never.
So your dad took you running.
My dad took me running. My mum did my diet.
Yeah.
Got in the Air Force, so it's okay.
That
Something must have worked.
So what were your like your first impressions of the RAF?
What, Swinderby or the Air Force in general?
Well, whatever. What sticks in your mind most when you think back to like those early days?
Oh, okay. The early things, thinking about Swinderby, them stupid jumpsuit things that you had to wear with your plimsolls and running down to breakfast in the dark.
Do you mean those jumpsuits that Ali Back now sells in Law 55?
Yeah. Yeah, but they didn't have anything nice on them like Loft 55.
No, they didn't. No, Velcro up the front and yeah, boiler suits.
But oh shit, doing that. I mean, seriously, why? What? I still don't ever get that. The fact
Character
that we,
building, they say, right? It's about instilling discipline and building character. Knock you down and build you up, right?
oh shit. I had loads of character. I didn't need locking down or flipping knocking down. I was fine as I was. But yeah, Swinderby, that I can remember, you know, being out on the airfield and like looking out to like cars and stuff going past, and I was like, that's the outside world. I'm stuck here. I can't get out. Oh, and the flipping bed packs.
Yeah.
Bed
Did you ever
packs used to
have
drive me
one of
crazy.
them tossed? Did you? Did you have one tossed?
No,
Did you not?
no, never.
You made pristine bed packs then?
I made very good bed packs. I was also a room leader at Swinderby.
Were you?
Yeah.
There you go.
It was shit because I used to get the grief for everybody else. I was like, okay, so her shoes aren't done. So at the end of it, it felt like on a night time, I was doing everybody else's ironing, everybody else's flipping bullying. And I'm just like, okay, so when do I do mine?
Why do you think they made you a room leader then?
I have absolutely no idea. Apart from maybe because I was in the cadets.
Ah, okay. Previous experience.
Yeah. You've also got to remember, so how many girls did we have in that room? 20. And
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know, but it's a full-on thing that if girls all spend enough time together, they all get the period at the same time.
I didn't know that.
Okay, well, there you go. So can
Right.
you imagine 20 girls in one room at Swinderby? We were all stressed out enough as it was. We all
I'd rather
got
not,
hormonal.
actually. It's been bad enough having to deal with one at a time.
Well, there you go. Hormonal, all at the same time, one room.
My lord. So how was that then? I mean, like honestly, but you know, going through that and did that happen? That actually sort of
That actually happened, yes.
right?
I'm
Okay.
surprised Karen hasn't told you about all this. Ask her. She'll tell you.
No, she hasn't. Not in that much detail.
Oh shit! There I go again.
No, but here you go, right? And this is why, right away, there's a different story to be told from everyone, and none of the guys that I've had on are going to be able to tell me, you know, what that must have been like. I mean, did any of the did your, for example, did like your corporal or your sergeant were they men or did you have a
all
woman?
of them were men. Yeah.
So they were all men. So they would have no clue either.
No.
Right. Okay. That must have been quite hard. And it's an added, I guess, but then I think as we were all taught, I'm going to say, how did you deal with it? I'm guessing you just got on with it, right?
Well, yeah, it's like the whole of the Air Force. She had to deal with it. I mean, back then, it was a bloke's world. If you remember all the shit that used to go down in the crew room, the stuff that guys used to stay and get away with, there'd be no way in this day and age that you could get away with doing what you did. Not I don't mean you. I meant like guys in general. But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to like make it sound like I was blaming anybody. But yeah, and say what you used to say.
Give us a few examples.
Holy shit, mate.
Go on.
Okay, how about this?
We're very open on here, and this is why we're doing it. Not trying to hide anything. And I would completely agree with you. By the way, I think back to some of the things I said, did, way in which we acted. That I don't use it as it's not. I don't say, well, we were all kids and therefore it's all right, but we were living in a world that was very, very different. And I think, a lot of stuff has changed from when we were children until now.
Yeah.
If we knew differently, or expectations were differently, then I'm pretty sure that there were things that we wouldn't have done or said, or we wouldn't have behaved in a particular way. But yeah, give us a couple of examples, because I'm sure other people will remember. I mean, I can remember a few. I can remember, you know, I can remember girls being taped to tables, for example. No names mentioned. I remember stockings and tights being ripped,
Yeah.
just for laughs, and there
Just
was
for a
never
laugh
any.
on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so yeah, give us a few others. Anything else that you can remember?
Okay, how about down the Falklands?
Yeah.
I know that's not a normal setting.
Yeah.
But it's still an Air Force setting.
Yeah.
Do my washing.
Yeah.
So just put my washing in the washing machine, leave it, came back. All my underwear used to go missing.
It used to go missing.
Yeah. Somebody was stealing my underwear.
There's a name for that. I'm not going to say it.
That's not a good thing.
No, it's not. Remember people talking about folk that would steal underwear from people's clotheslines? It's kind of the same thing, really, isn't it?
Oh, exactly.
Really?
Yeah. So
What
I used to have to like.
What are people going to do with it? What do you think they were going to do with it?
Pinky, seriously? I didn't even want to think about that.
I mean, if you're going there, right? I mean, what's the point? It's clean, right? So.
Also, no,
it's
it
been
did
washed.
turn up occasionally, and guess where it used to turn up in?
Go on.
The unloading bay.
So your knickers and your bras would disappear from the laundry and turn up in the loading bay.
Unloading bay, which is obviously where they used to unload.
Oh, dearie me. So, what's your view on this as well? Because there's obviously, like we say, living in a kind of changed world, and I guess there's possibly, if you roll the clock forward to where we're at now, there's going to be people with a lot of different views on kind of how right or how wrong though that kind of behavior was back then. What's your view on kind of what happened? And do you reckon that in this day and age, for example, that there should be any like repercussion, in the way that a lot of other, if we look at things going on in the world where people fighting for different kind of rights, do you look back and think that sort of behaviour deserves any follow up in this day and age, and any repercussions for any of that behaviour?
No.
Why not?
The world's changed. When we all joined up, we knew what we were getting into. We knew what happened.
Yeah.
It made me a strong person. It's also made me deal with a lot of shit. Like, in a workplace now, if somebody says something to me and I'm like that, whatever, carry on, or I'll just shout back at them. Not shout, but I'll give them
as good as you get.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And that actually works wonderfully. I've got a guy that I work with now that turned around to me and said, I've never met anybody quite like you that's not on drugs. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but because I just deal with what people say. And I'm so, but yeah, no. I know there are people that have gone back and tried or have sued and the stuff, but
no.
So, yes, it was. Sometimes it was real shit, but then I think everybody had a shit time at times, not just females.
Oh yeah.
Because I don't think the guys had a good time either.
No, especially if you kind of stood out, and especially if you kind of attracted trouble. Yeah, those kind of guys kind of had a bit of a tough time sometimes.
Yeah,
even
they did, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Anyway, so I've got just one more question. Kind of feels, in fact, no, I'm going to leave it. I'll leave it for later because it kind of feels that there might be a little bit more RAF chat to come.
Okay.
But let's move on to your next song. I take it you don't. Are you don't? You're not bothered about what order we do these in, right?
No, you can do it whatever order you want.
Okay, so we'll do it as it came. Next song was Vincent by Ellie Goulding.
Okay. So, Vincent has always been a huge, huge song in my family. Yeah, it means a lot. It was one of my auntie's favourite songs. It was the last song that I ever danced with my dad to.
Okay.
It's one of my granddad's favourite songs also, and he just passed recently.
Yeah.
It was also always Don McLean's version.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
When I heard Ellie Goulding's version,
yeah,
she's amazing. Her voice is just amazing.
Yeah.
So Vincent is huge in my life.
Right. So this is one of these songs. Then it's like it brings back memories of family.
Yes.
Your granddad liked it. It's the last song you danced to with your dad, as well. Is your dad still with us?
No, Dad died 6 years ago. So
right. Okay.
My sister got married 2 days before we left to move to Australia.
Okay.
So
and you danced with your dad to this song at your sister's wedding?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Crikey. I'll bet that was emotional on a number of levels then, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah, just even the fact that I was just moving to Australia, that was,
Yeah.
It was just huge. And knowing, the fact it was my sister's wedding, because she's my baby sister.
Right. Okay. So what do you remember? What do you remember about the wedding and about that song and about your, dance with your dad? What thoughts kind of come to mind? Is there anything particular, like any of the sights, sounds, smells that you can remember from the wedding?
Oh shit, that's hard. The wedding was hard.
Yeah.
Because
you knew you were good,
I
right?
was emotional because I knew everybody at the wedding, because all my family was actually at the wedding.
Yeah.
And I also knew it was going to be the last time that I saw them for I don't know how long, because obviously we were moving to Australia.
Yeah.
And trying not to get emotional because it wasn't anything to do with me. It was all about my sister.
Yeah. So here's a question for you. At that point in your life, what you had been taught, what you'd learned in the military, did that help you kind of hold things together? Did that help you sort of control like your own emotions to the point of sort of like ensuring you were just strong to make it all about your sister? Did that help in any way? Or was that yeah?
No, it did, because that's what you know. You know, it's just I did lose it at one point, but that
it wouldn't be a wedding if people don't lose it in some shape or form. That's what weddings are all about, right?
Exactly. But yeah, no. So yeah, it was good. It was a nice wedding. It was yeah. The kids loved it, as in my children, because they were part of it. And then so this De Vincent came on, and that was my Auntie Kath's favourite song. Auntie Kath was my dad's sister.
Yeah.
And she had a brain aneurysm and she died at 49. So me and Dad danced to it. And there's a photo somewhere on Facebook of me and my dad dancing to this. And there's just me bawling my eyes out, looking at my dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing you do the same when you look at the picture now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And every time I hear the song,
I
cry. But it's a huge thing. It's not just for me, but for all the family. And there's so many memories just with that one song.
Yeah. And it sounds as if it's one of those rare. Not only is there so much emotion and so many different memories kind of attached to it, but actually it's one of those rare occasions where a cover version, in your opinion, is actually better than
and it actually is
the original.
What I think is better.
Yeah.
There's people out there that will probably say, how can anything be better than Don McLean?
Yeah. But again, it's quite a lot down to do with time and place as well. All right.
Can you just close the door, please? Oh, sorry. I only have a 1-bedroom apartment.
So listen, this is a great opportunity to ask the question. So at the wedding, at your sister's wedding, you were leaving for Australia 2 days after.
Yeah.
Why on earth were you moving to Australia, knowing you were leaving your family behind, and that you wouldn't see them again for however long? What took you to the other side of the world?
Mark's job.
Okay. So this was, had he left the Air Force by this point in time?
Yeah, so no, he actually left the Air Force to take this job.
To take the job.
So,
okay.
Yeah, so Brad Miller.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Got him the job.
The job. Right. Okay. So it was going over to, it was the job that was taking you over there. Right. Okay.
Yeah. So he left the Air Force and then joined Boeing. Yeah. Which is why we left. And that's fine because I grew up in Australia anyway.
Yeah. Had you left the Air Force yourself by this point in time? Or were you?
But I left the Air Force a year after Caitlin was born.
Right. Okay. So
it was 2000, I think I left.
Yeah. Okay. So let's roll back. Let's roll back and fill in some of the gaps, because there's some Air Force times I have to ask you about. Right, there's people that are going to watch this who are just going to kick my ass if I don't ask you about Buchan, because you know, the number of memories from Buchan. I mean, we've had Falklands memories spoken about on here, detachments, you know, Nita Z, Bilmer, and a raft of other, you know, locations. But I think the kind of common thread that ties
No, it's Buchan.
most of the people together that have kind of been on here that I have served with was Buchan. So what are your, let's start with your earliest memories of Buchan. When was it you went up? Was it 90? Was it 91?
Start of 93.
93. Was it? Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. What are your
It
first
could have been
memories?
the end of 92, actually, because something happened at Bulmer and we couldn't do anything. So they sent us all, before we even got through basic, the trade training, up to Buchan.
All right. Okay. So you actually arrived at Buchan having not finished your
Yeah, and then we had to go back again.
All right. Okay. I hadn't heard of that before. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are your earliest memories then?
Oh shit! How cold it was. Branston pickle smell. The fog.
The har. Yes, that fog.
So when I actually moved there, the corridor that I was in.
What block was it?
I don't freaking know. The one opposite the boys' block. A block, B block. I don't know.
I know. I mean, what was it? Isla block? Mull block? Isla?
Yeah. So
I remember it. What? I do.
I'm not saying anything. Of course you do.
That's the block that Karen.
Guys knew what blocks were. Anyway, so my corridor consisted
Got a good
of
memory for some things.
Rachel,
so the corridor, yeah.
Tracy, Loza.
Yeah.
Okay, there were my three people in my corridor.
Who was that again?
Rachel Gay.
Rachel Gay, yeah.
Lorraine Wallen.
Yeah.
Tracy Cheatham.
Right, okay.
My earliest memories
was that you saying that's the next three people that I should ask to come on, because if you can come on,
I don't actually think they would.
All right. Yeah,
country
the corridor.
Music. They used to
country music.
Country music constantly. And I was like that, I'm in the wrong corridor. This is not for me. It wasn't good.
Right.
It seriously wasn't good. And they used to party every night. Bear in mind, right? So this is me being a young, kind of naive person when I actually got there. They freaking got that out of me quickly. But they used to party every night. They used to leave the doors open and they used to drink Lambrusco. Who the freaking hell drinks Lambrusco? I moved into a house with these three people.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Oh. I never, ever thought that I was going to like the Air Force.
Right. But you did at some point.
Country music, mate.
Country music.
Just no. I was into the Smiths, I was into The Cure, and I was in the corridor with somebody that played flipping Place Your Blanket on the Bedroom, or whatever it's called. I don't know what the freaking song's called, but they used to play it over and over again. Oh, and the Crystal Chandeliers.
All right, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, they turned out to be really good friends.
So that was your earliest.
That was my first.
Yeah. And then interesting what you say about partying every night and you know, parties in the block. You were young and naive, and that was soon eradicated.
Yeah, it took about 2 days.
Yeah, there's something quite special about that place that kind of lies in most people's memories about how it kind of changed things. So, you know, eh, if you look at your entire time there, what would you say? You know, I have my own views on this, but again, I'm fascinated to kind of understand what how did you change in the time? How long were you there?
The first time I was there for 5 years.
Okay, so how did that 5 years change you?
I would never want to be anywhere else.
Right. Was it the best place that you was
It
it the
was the
best
best
year
place
you had?
that I've ever been.
Right. What was that down to?
I think it was because everybody was so far away from home.
Yeah.
And we all became each other's family.
Yeah.
Sports and social. I mean, come on. How can you not like sports and social? No matter where I've ever been, I've never been anywhere like the sports and social.
Yeah. So for anybody watching that doesn't know, it was like a little rugby club, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That just served very cheap drink. It was
Random bar rules.
random bar rules. Yeah. It was because I think because it was in an old building as well down in that place they called the Hollows, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it was an old building that would kind of not many of those buildings were actually used. So they were actually had I think most of them were condemned by that point, weren't they? So the random rules, it was like, the fact that the place was condemned, there wasn't, I don't think, by the senior ranks, too much of an expectation on it, like standing. So kind of pretty much anything went in there, right?
Yeah. And it was for everybody. It wasn't just for junior ranks. Everybody.
Yeah, all ranks. Yeah. What sort of stuff did you see happening there?
It was good.
Yeah.
Although I have a really bad memory of having to eat peanuts off Phil Rushmore's stomach, blindfolded.
Yeah, they did. There were some crazy games in there, weren't there?
And why I ever agreed to that, I do not know. But
Fun.
Bless.
It would probably that it wouldn't surprise me if that idea was of Phil Rushmore's as well, because he liked to feed people.
Are you allowed to say that?
I don't care. I'll tag him. I'll tag him. I had this conversation with him many moons ago. He didn't deny it.
Okay. Although I'm
not going to mention any other names. So
he actually came to my house in Australia once.
Did he?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. I think he's actually here now. Somewhere.
Is he living in Australia now?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay. There you go. Well, there you are.
Anyway, so yeah.
So yes,
no, I wouldn't change anything about Buchan ever.
Yeah.
I met probably the best people in my entire life being at Buchan.
Right. How many people that you met at Buchan you still in touch with?
Rachel, Loza, not still in touch with Tracy. You, Karen, Oz. There's a few.
Yeah.
I'd have to go through my friends list to tell you.
Why do you think that is? All those years down the line, and these people are still part of your life.
Because we were young, and like I said, I think we all became family.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a very interesting place. Like I say, like you've already said, the distance, people couldn't go away on a weekend, could they? They had to make the most of it. In any other place or time would have places like the Palace Hotel, the Waverley, the Granada, to name but a few. Would they have stuck would these places stuck so much in people's memories had it not been for the people? I doubt it.
I don't think so. I don't think so, because not really. They weren't overly good, were they?
No. Well, they were
at the time.
They were at the
Because
time.
of the people that were there, because obviously you knew as soon as you walked in, you'd know everybody.
Yeah.
I can remember plenty of time being outside the palace puking so that I could go back in and drink more. I mean, come on. Rachel holding my hair, because at that time I had really long hair. Oh.
But how old were you? How old were you? Like 19, 20?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what
even now I still think I can still remember being outside the palace puking. And I was like, okay, right, let's go in. She was like, whose round is it? I was like, it's yours.
Oh dear, I love it. Right, listen, next song. You've got Mr. Brightside by the Killers.
Okay.
Oh, I can tell there's a story here.
This is not right. So I've been talking to my kids about this, like the songs and stuff. And Caitlin, my daughter, she was like, Mum, that's so white trash. And I'm just like, okay, you got to remember, I heard this when it first came out.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, yeah. So Mr. Brightside was my introduction to the Killers. It's not my favourite Killers song.
Okay.
But it is, so after having children, you can't go out very much. So when we moved to Waddington, the kids were small. They weren't babies, they were small. Me and Joe Mac and Stu Mac, we used to take it in turns. We used to have like kitchen discos.
Yeah.
So we used to sit in the kitchen, drink. And the kids used to play because her kids were the same age as mine. And we used to just music. It was a Spotify thing back then. And as soon as Mr. Brightside ever came on, me and Joe just used to dance. Same with the Sergeant Mess balls and whatever we went to. It's just the song.
Yeah.
And if I hadn't have heard the Killers, thanks to my sister, bless her, even though she's 13 years younger than me, she was playing it once when I was home on leave. And I was like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Who is this? I would have never been introduced to the Killers.
Right. Okay. See, it's that sort of song that gets you on the dance floor every time. What about now? What about now? Still? Is that still a song that you're like, right, hold my drink, I'm off?
If I ever went out, yes.
Not going out much right at the moment, no.
Well, no, because with the COVID thing and the split up and stuff, things have changed in my life a lot. So,
So here's a question. The last 5 questions that I had, you've kind of answered them naturally as we went through. But the next question that I've got down here for you is, so obviously we've spoken about joining the RAF, not spoken about why you left yet, but I'll come on to that. But but just look where everything is at the moment and where you are right now. What's the biggest challenge that you faced in the last couple of years, and how have you sort of dealt with it?
okay, definitely me and Mark breaking up.
Okay.
That was huge. That was not even a slight blip. That was huge.
Big. How long were you together?
28 years.
Wow. A long time.
Yeah.
Long time for a change like that.
Kind of would have helped if I'd known it was happening.
Right, okay.
So
Came as a bit of a surprise to you.
yeah. But that's also, you might need to wait for that one for the other two songs.
Right, okay.
Just saying.
Right, okay. Well, let's. So should we talk about them now? Are the other two songs? Are they related? There are they?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right. That's fine. So let's finish that off then. We'll just tell us about Magnolia then, by Gang of Youths.
Okay. So, Magnolia. If I'd have spoken to you this time last year.
Yeah.
And you'd have said, would you still be here next year? I'd have said no.
Okay. Wow. As in, like, just not feeling like wanting to be here.
No, I just wouldn't have been here.
All right. Okay. Okay. All right. Why is that?
Like we were talking about, the breakup was huge.
Yeah.
And obviously I'm in Australia.
Yeah.
I have no family here.
Yeah.
It was COVID.
Yeah.
So I was by myself.
Low.
And yes, I have, or did, try a few times to end my life.
Bless you.
So if you listen to Magnolia, it's kind of, he's the same, and there's a line in the song that says heaven's not going to take him now.
Yeah.
And after trying a couple of times, me still being here.
Yeah. This line kind of struck a chord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a song that I listen to quite often when I feel low.
Yeah. Would you say it saved your life? Yeah. Yeah. What happened with that? Was it that line? Was it that line rolling around in your head has kind of made you think, hang on a second, maybe there is something else? Whereabout is that?
There was that, and there was something that somebody said to me, that suicide is a final option to a temporary problem.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't go. There's no coming back, right? And one of the things that I always like to say is that whatever problem that you're going through, be it, like a relationship problem, some sort of emotional problem, be it, financial, be it sort of like to do with health, whatever your problems that you're going through in life, they'll always pass. There's something, we'll always come through it. And that's,
sometimes you just don't know if that's going to happen.
you don't know, and sometimes, like you say,
kick
you need to
yourself
hear it.
I can do that now.
Yeah.
But when you're going through that at the time, you just don't.
So was there a moment then that kind of changed it after having unsuccessfully, and I'm not going to ask you to kind of go into any more detail there, but was there a moment that kind of like shifted that? Was there something that happened that kind of made you sort of say, right, I guess What was the moment that in your mind you decided, I've got to do something about this?
So I moved out of where we were living.
Yeah.
He'd already left, and I was still living in that place. So I found my little flat, which is what I live in now. And
Yeah.
as soon as I moved in here, I had my space, my memory filled. There was nothing, and I just knew that then it was, things were going to be okay. Not okay as they used to be okay, but
a new okay, different.
Yeah.
A new start, a new part.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's not really even a new chapter, is it? It's almost like a flipping new book when you've gone through that, right? Yeah. Yeah. And at that point it's like, right, okay, you're number one. Are the children, are you, and I say children, but they're not children now. Are they still with you?
19 and 22. No.
No.
Neither of them.
Huh. Right. Okay.
So I'm by myself.
Right.
Yeah.
But you're obviously, so can I say first and foremost, right now, just now knowing what I know, right, that I didn't know before. I said brave at the start of this, and that was just coming on, right? But coming on and sharing what you've shared, not only is it brave, I take my hat off to you, because you've no idea. I just want to remind you, and for anybody else watching this, when I first asked you about coming on here to do this, you said, I've got nothing interesting to say. I've got nothing that anybody would be interested in. And what you've just shared, I can tell you for a fact, can potentially help so many other people that are going through, and this is why we started doing this, because these stories, life's not all a bed of roses. We all have kind of ups and downs. But even after everything that we were taught and that we learned in the military, it's still very, very hard for a lot of people of our generation to share those problems, even with other people, even with the people that are closest to them or strangers. So to actually share something like this here, you're a very, very brave lady. So well done, honestly. And it's and you are moving on. You are now moving on, and you're doing, look, and you're smiling as well. So, how much of a part in your life now does music play?
Still lots.
Lots.
Yeah. I can't listen to some songs.
Right. Okay. Are there some that are just too hard to listen to? Yeah.
I've got a lot of memories.
Right. Automatic skip on. Next. I have quite a few of them.
A lot of new memories, so I have a lot of new songs.
Yeah, and that's. Do you know what? That's life, isn't it? It's you kind of, you learn from the memories, or learn from the things that have happened in the past, and kind of move on.
Yeah.
So here's a question before we go on to your last song. I've got a few other little sort of quicker ones, a little bit sort of lighter hearted. You'd be very pleased to hear. But this one, so you've spoken quite a lot about how a number of these, in fact, maybe all of them actually, your family is really important to you as well.
Yeah.
So tell me how they inspire you.
Oh, holy moly. So where do I start? I can't even. So mum and dad got married. Okay, so she was 16 when she was pregnant with me.
Yeah.
They were also Catholic.
Yeah.
So that they actually got married when she was 5 months pregnant.
Okay.
Oh, 2 secs. Can you pass me my charger? Oh, such a nice thing. Anyway, and they got told that they wouldn't last.
Yeah.
And they did. Till Dad died.
That resonates with me. I'm very much in the camp of people that are told that they won't last.
Yeah.
Did anybody tell you that?
What? Like Rachel and Loza? They gave me Mark 6 months.
They gave you 6 months. Well, see, you might not be together now, but you lasted 28 years, and that's something, right?
Yeah.
So your mum and dad, they battled the odds as well.
They did, and they moved to Australia when I was 2. So Mum was what, 16, 18, and they moved to Australia.
Your mum and dad did?
Yeah, they moved and left all the family behind. Dad built the house.
So you lived in Australia as a kid as well?
Yeah.
Ah, right. Okay. Right. Okay. So you lived in Australia and then moved to Bradford. I kind of get that chatter about Bradford then. If having lived in Australia. What age were you when you moved back then?
Oh, like 13.
All right. Okay. All right. Sorry.
Anyway,
Carry on.
So Mum and Dad are a huge inspiration in my life. The fact that they went through what they did, how they ever stuck together.
Yeah.
Because God, they had some big rows, as like most kids will say about the parents. My sister is huge. She's such an inspiration to me. She's just amazing. Like, she's 12 years younger than I am.
Yeah.
And she is a professor now. She is probably one of the world's leading professors in endometriosis.
Really?
Yeah. So if you Google her, she'll be up there.
Right.
So she's amazing. She's a pain in the ass. She has got, this.
Aren't all brothers and sisters?
Well, I
know
know.
I am, as a brother.
Me and Erin never did. Me and Erin have never had a row, ever. Because there
Really?
was such a big age difference between us.
Yeah.
There was nothing for us to actually argue about.
Yeah.
I'm just so proud of her because she comes across as really dizzy, but she's not. It's like Jim Critchley used to call me Tim Nice But Dim. That's what he used to call me.
Jim, did he?
Yes. And
I don't
probably was, because I used to believe what anybody else told me. I was just like dead gullible. Anyway, but she reminds me of me. But she stuck it out, and so she's good. And she's got 2 boys that she's bringing up, but she's still, used to travel. She can't at the moment, obviously, because COVID. But yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah.
Granddad. So my granddad, he died 2 weeks ago. Oh yeah. He was my go-to. So when I couldn't speak to my dad or my mum about stuff, mostly about moving to Australia because they were kicking off big time.
Yeah.
I used to just ring them. And he was the most gentlest man you'd ever meet. And no matter whoever he spoke to, or, whatever you wanted to talk to him about, he calmed you down, or he understood. He was just amazing. He knew everything. He was just there. And he had a bad life. So both him and Grandma, outlived 3 of their children.
Yeah.
And they never lost faith.
Yeah.
They were always upbeat if you spoke to them. You know, they never gave up.
Mm. It sounds like he's passed that trait on to you.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Well, it sounds like it. Quite an inspirational family then as well. So,
Yeah.
you know where you take it from. Then is what I would say to you. Shall we shift on to your last song?
Yeah.
Before I make you flip and cry.
Yeah, don't make me cry, because I was promising myself, I was like, okay, last song.
Last song, Heart as a Muscle, Gang of Youth. 2 songs by the same band.
Yeah. That's my song. Picking myself up, learning again that I can love and I'm worthy. And it's huge. They're both intertwined because, you know, it's been a pretty big year. Yeah.
That's quite a you kind of say that in itself, that you can love again and that you're worthy. That's difficult for a lot of people to even look in the mirror in the morning. So that's big. Are there any lines in that song that kind of resonate, or is it just the kind of vibe of it? I'm guessing that there's something in the lyrics as well. There's
a lot in the lyrics.
Yeah. And you have picked yourself. What's next then? What's next now that you've picked yourself up? I know you're doing some studying because you told me about this.
That's on hold.
Is it?
Yeah, because my computer got taken.
Ah, okay. Right.
Not by like debt collectors or anything, by the way.
You need to get a computer sorted. I get it. I understand. Right. Listen. How do you fancy like 3 or 4 very quick questions to close out on? Right.
Okay, good.
We've spoken about some pretty deep shit throughout the last hour. You are a very, very brave lady and inspirational as well. All right. What a story. All right. I am in no doubt that you're going to make a success of whatever you choose to do now. But there's a few other little questions here that I just need to ask you, because I invite people on here because I'm interested in knowing more about them. I've obviously not seen you face to face in like over 2 decades now. So here's a few questions that, like, rolling back the years, just to make you think a little bit, but a little bit of fun. So what's your favourite all-time movie?
Oh, shit.
I know. Do you know the number of people that have said to me when I've asked, they've gone, "Oh, you could have given me some notice." And I'm like, this is the JFDI podcast. It doesn't make for the same vibe if you get time to study for it.
Shawshank Redemption.
Top film. There you go. If you could only eat one meal or one item of food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Curry.
Oh, yes.
It has to be hot curry also.
Oh, yes. A girl after my own heart. Oh, fantastic. So money is no object. Where in the world would you go on holiday? And how long would you stay as well? Because if money was no object, money's no object, where would you go?
I think I'd still come back to the UK, see my family.
Bless you. Lovely.
Don't know how long I'd stay. It'll be until they piss me off.
I was going to say, right, I'm away. Back to Australia. I'll FaceTime you in a week. It's been nice, but
Yeah, 4 days. That's it. Fine.
yeah. And finally, I always like this answer. If you could meet one celebrity for like coffee or for drinks for one day, any celebrity, dead or alive, who would it be?
Shit. Jim Morrison.
Really?
Yeah.
That would see you'd need more than a day though, wouldn't you?
Hell yeah. You didn't say how long I needed. You just said for a day or so.
You can roll the answer to the last question into that as well. It's like, yeah, I'd like to meet Jim Morrison, and we would go out, and then it would last however long it would last.
Exactly.
I mean, you're out with the Lizard King. I hear you. What a great
but that was
answer.
hard. That was a horrible. That's a horrible question because there's so many. But yeah, him. Oh gosh, yes.
Do you want to know something?
What?
2 of those answers that you gave, probably exactly the same for me. And you're
Curry and Jim Morrison.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely outstanding. What a great way to end. Listen, Lisa, thank you so much indeed for coming on, for sharing your story, which, by the way, nothing that you touched on at all this morning, was boring, dull. You've had a wonderful, crazy roller coaster life, and I thank you for sharing it. It's been an absolute joy to speak to you. It really has. So thank you. I'm going to press stop on record and say goodbye to our our viewers who will be viewing when we post this. So would you like to say goodbye, or in fact, would you like to say hello to anybody that you've not already mentioned?
Nah, just
No. You're all good.
I'm all good. I'm good.
Thank you very much indeed.
Okay, well, thank you.